I'm going to go ahead now and log in. And when I arrive, what I'm presented with is a snapshot view of the world, which will tell me things like the number of Facebook likes generated, Twitter followers, LinkedIn, and registration form, and a quick overview in the past 7 days of Wi-Fi users and genders with browser types, operating systems, etc. Now what you'll see on the right hand side here is a widgets menu that can be collapsed or left open, and that'll follow you around. And you can also choose which of the widgets you want on or off as they follow you around. You'll see a real-time view of the number of visitors online. This is obviously a demo, so it's not showing anybody, and you can also see the venues and whether they're online or offline, and click through to see why they might be offline. So if I jump into reports, you'll see again a snapshot, which is the number of new users, repeat users, unique users, and the Wi-Fi users by day. I can change this to 7, 14, or 30 days, or I could use a date picker to look at a specific date range. The visitor reports go into a little bit more depth, and this in part, or certainly the top half here, is based around presence analytics. It's the ability to scan the background for Wi-Fi enabled devices. So you'll see here as an example on repeat versus new, the number of repeat visitors is a large number because that's the Wi-Fi enabled devices. We do take outliers out, such as those only seen for a couple of seconds, and that can be amended depending on the venue. There are a number of reports here around duration, time of day patterns, footfall, and the lower reports you'll see around gender, age, country, cities, language, therefore authenticated users. So we know the gender and the age of somebody if they've gone through this. And all of these segments that you see here are all clickable. So if I want to know who those 25 to 34-year-old males were, if I click through to that, that will take me down to the detail that creates the report. So you'll see the users, the email addresses, social networks, age, gender, last visit, total visits, and also the number of connections they have, so you can see how influential that person may be. If you wanted to connect directly with them, all of these links are clickable and will take you directly through to that person's Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn profile. You may choose to post on the wall or send a direct message. So I may say, thanks for joining us for dinner again last night. Hope you had a wonderful time. We look forward to seeing you again soon. And it really personalizes that social interaction with a venue's customers. Equally, that could be done for somebody that hasn't been for a while. So you might look to try and tempt somebody back. Okay. So in network reports, as the name suggests, this is more about the network, so you can see the types of operating systems, browsers, data usage, Wi-Fi usage, etc., and top visited sites. This may be used to look at what app you might want to develop. You may be surprised to find that you've got a large number of BlackBerry users, or in this case, more Android than iPhone users, and that may drive decisions on how to target those particular users. The location mapping I shall come back to. What I shall first do is show you under settings, under the location management element, you will see there are a number of tabs here for details of the venue, the users that are there. You can very quickly add a new user and give them various permissions. And the one in particular I'm looking at here is plans. So what you're able to do is upload plans for a venue. And what I can do is draw zones on those plans. So I may, clearly this is one of our office floors, but if this was the menswear department of a department store, I could draw in the zone and put in there menswear and save that. So that creates a zone on my floor plan. Under the reports, you'll see under location mapping the different zones and how many users or seen devices have been in the different zones. So you can see the geofence I've drawn around the theoretical menswear department here has had 11 users and current 11. Obviously you can reshape them zones as appropriate and view it over a given period or time in day to see how people move or view real time. The location mapping will give you an overview of the users that have been in there, so you can look at maybe male versus female. We may look at repeat versus new visits. So you will see here that the repeat visits are very high compared to first visits, which makes sense in an office environment. And there are a number of other overlays that we can do, maybe on demographics because we're pulling in that data, or over day periods. So if I now go through to the marketing element of the platform, what you'll see here are what we call e-shots. Now this could be a voucher, it could be an advert, a survey, or something else. If I create a new e-shot, you'll see one here that's had the images uploaded and logos. If I go ahead and create a new one, I can upload images. I can give them names, descriptions, valid to and from dates, and also a code to link this back to the EPOS system so I can see the number of redemptions. Now where this gets a little bit more interesting is if you click into define, you can choose who's going to receive this based on gender, age, which venue they visited, and you can also put in a number of times visited. So we could use this as a reward scheme and say that anybody that visits 10 times in a year, and I'm going to switch off historic matches, so this is only going forward. So under this scenario, if I walk into this coffee shop on the 10th visit, the system knows I'm there and is going to push me a voucher for a free coffee right there and then. Equally, that could be used to attract back people that haven't been for a while, as I mentioned earlier. So you could put on your historic matches and look at people that haven't been for a while and push them a voucher out to try and tempt them back. One of the additional functions around the connected mobile experience and the floor plans I've just shown you is we can do that on dwell-based vouchering. So we can choose a zone. You can see the menswear zone I just created, and you can add in a time period for this voucher to be open and valid and put in a dwell time. So I'd probably say there 5 minutes. That means that somebody just passing through the menswear department isn't going to break that geo fence and be pushed a voucher. It's going to be somebody that is dwelling there and looking around. And based on that, I could push them a coupon for 20% off jeans or men's shirts or suits, whatever it might be, on that particular day or week or month. The splash page I mentioned is completely customizable by the venue, so they can log in and it's on a venue by venue basis. They can change the elements in here, so I can go in and add in the logo of my venue. I can give some general blurb about what the location is, and I can also choose the access method. So if I'm a coffee shop, I probably haven't got LinkedIn or it isn't important to me, so I'm going to switch off that as one of the access methods. Probably like to pull in my social feeds, Twitter and Facebook, and then I'm just going to drag them down to the bottom of the splash page. I may also want a slider image in there. And then I'll add a few images into it. Now, these aren't perfectly sized, so they won't look as styled as they could be, but we'll give a good idea of what you can do with it. You can also pull in company information, offers, and other elements, but I'll show it as is. So now that I've created it, I can also change elements here. So on the color picker up here, I can change those to suit, or I can actually choose an RGB if I've got a specific one for my venue, and that will change any of the elements on there. Once I've done that, a quick preview will show me how this is going to look to the end user. So you can see the slider images there, the two I've added, the various access methods, and the social feeds pulling in live data. So access posts are the element that asks somebody to either post onto their Facebook newsfeed or tweet to their Twitter stream. Now these can be switched off completely, and we've got quite a lot of casino customers who don't have this on. It would appear that people don't want to be tweeting their location at 4 in the morning at casinos. If that was switched on, I can choose the duration for which it asks my visitors to tweet or post something. So if it was once a week, for 6 days, if I'm in there, I will seamlessly connect and nothing to ask me. On the 7th day, what it's going to ask me is to post a message of choice from the venue. So it might be join us for a lunchtime special. Obviously a little bit more detail than that. And what the venue could do, and if we take an example of a hotel, is schedule the request or the text to be different at different times of the day or days of the week or weeks of the month, months of the year, etc. So as an example, in a hotel, if somebody logs onto the Wi-Fi between 7 and 11 in the morning, it may promote the lunchtime menu. If they log on between 11 and 4, it would promote the evening menu, or it could be promoting the show on a Friday night. It's very powerful in terms of how you write these and when it asks people to do different posts. The final area, which I won't spend too much time on, is around settings. I've obviously been through some of the stuff around venues. You've got the splash page redirect settings to choose where you want to send your users after authentication. There is also a full admin section, so you can manage all your users and venues and various other parts in there. And one bit I will touch on briefly at the top level is social, and this is a separate area of the portal, and this allows the venue owners to manage their own social presence, so their own Facebook page, their own Twitter, LinkedIn. So rather than having to log out and log into Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, they can come through here, maybe do a quick update, choose what text they're going to write, and then they can post it to any or all of their social channels. You'll see social inboxes, the same sort of idea with the widgets that follow you around and the reporting across the networks. If they do want to be more in depth, similar to the access posts, they can write a post, add a picture, and then pick a schedule. So they might write something for the new menu being launched on Friday, and that will post automatically Friday at 9 AM. So they literally can plan their whole social media presence a week, a month, however far in advance, and check inboxes, feeds, and the various reports that go with that. So hopefully that gives a good overview.
InTouch Interactive. Turn on the future.